Welcome to the Google Cloud Update for the week of January 13th, 2026. I'm your host, and we have a packed episode for you today. On the agenda, we'll dive into some exciting new creative capabilities and Vertex AI with an update to video. Then we'll shift gears and cover a very large number of security bulletins that have been released. It's a lot, but we'll break down what you need to know. After that, we have some fantastic updates for our developers and data engineers with new features for Cloud Run, GKE, Firestore, Spanner, and a whole lot more. We'll also touch on networking with DNS Armor going GA and finish with a few other changes across the platform. Let's jump right in. Kicking things off in the world of artificial intelligence, Vertex AI has a great new update for VO 3.1. The reference to video preview models now support a 9:16 aspect ratio, which is perfect for creating content for mobile and social media. Even better, they've added upsampling for videos generated at 1080p and 4K resolutions, giving you much higher quality output. Sticking with AI, Document AI is introducing document-level prompting for custom document processors. This lets you provide an overall description of a document to inject deep business knowledge into the model, which should significantly improve extraction quality and accuracy. And finally, for those building conversational experiences, Agent Designer in Gemini is now generally available. All right, let's talk security. We have a very long list of security bulletins to get through, but I want to start by saying that for the vast majority of these, no customer action is required. Google has already proactively applied mitigations and fixes to the Google Cloud fleet. Several vulnerabilities have been patched related to Intel and AMD processors. This includes flaws in the RDSEED instruction on AMD Zen 5 processors and side-channel vulnerabilities affecting Intel chips like Sapphire Rapids, Emerald Rapids, and Granite Rapids. There was also a medium severity issue on select ARM VMs. Again, for all of these, Google Server Fleet has already been updated to protect you. Similarly, a high-severity vulnerability in shielded VMs related to the Virtual Trusted Platform Module, or VTPM, is being proactively updated by Google during standard maintenance windows. Now, there is one critical vulnerability I need to highlight where you might need to take action. It's related to OpenSSH, specifically CVE 20246387. This vulnerability could allow a remote, unauthenticated attacker to execute arbitrary code as root on a target machine. This is a big deal. It affects glibc-based Linux distributions with OpenSSH exposed. We strongly recommend you apply the latest updates from your Linux distribution as soon as they become available. Patches are also available for TPUs. If you can't update immediately, you should consider turning off OpenSSH or at least disabling the default Allow SSH firewall. The release notes contain a script to apply a runtime mitigation by setting the login grace time to 0, which you can also use. Please take this one seriously. A few other security notes. Google has confirmed that Compute Engine is not affected by the recent XZ-Utils backdoor vulnerability. And several older vulnerabilities from Log4j to issues in sudo and UEFI firmware have also been addressed over time, with most mitigations being applied automatically by Google. It's a good reminder of how much goes on behind the scenes to keep the cloud secure. Moving on to our Compute and Containers segment. For all the Python developers out there, Cloud Run and Cloud Run functions source deployments now support the pyproject.toml file for managing dependencies. This is now generally available for all supported Python versions, making your deployments a little bit cleaner. Over in Google Kubernetes Engine, a new wave of version updates has been released. Kubernetes version 1.35 is now the default for new cluster creation in the Rapid channel. As usual, new patch and minor versions are available across the rapid, regular, and stable channels with new auto-upgrade targets. This release also includes updated container-optimized OS images with the latest security fixes. We won't list all the version numbers here, so please check the release notes for the full details relevant to your clusters. And a quick but useful update for Cloud Build. It now supports awk artifacts. These artifacts will now appear directly in the Artifacts column of your Build History page and in the Build Details tabs, making them much easier to find and manage. Now for our data and analytics segment, and we have some fantastic updates here. First up, Firestore Enterprise Edition now supports native mode and a new pipeline operations interface, which is currently in preview. This is a game changer for querying your data. This new interface provides advanced query functionality, including complex expressions and support for new functions like min, max, substring, regex match, and array contains all. And here's the best part. With Firestore Enterprise Edition in native node, index creation is now completely optional, which dramatically streamlines development. Cloud Spanner is also getting several enhancements to its full-text search. Search indexes can now accelerate pattern matching expressions like, starts with, and ends with. The tokenize full-text function now has an argument to remove diacritics, and the tokenize substring function now supports emojis. In AlloyDB, memory usage estimation is now more accurate for high-dimensional vector indexes. This fix should prevent out-of-memory errors by better enforcing memory constraints during the index build process. You might need to increase your maintenance workmem settings to align with the new, more accurate estimates. Over in Dataflow, you will now get a notice when the Dataflow Runner v2 container image of a streaming pipeline is scheduled to be upgraded. This gives you a chance to launch a replacement job before the maintenance window to avoid any downtime. For Dataproc on Compute Engine, a quick announcement, several subminor image versions that were announced on January 6th have been rolled back. Please check the release notes to see if you are affected. On the feature front, Dataproc has added a new property to customize the PyPy repository used for pip, which can point to a Google-hosted cache to work without public internet access. In cloud storage, you can now use a dry run mode to simulate storage batch operations jobs. This is incredibly useful for validating your job configuration before you modify or delete any data. Additionally, when you bulk restore soft-deleted objects, you can now restore objects that were live at a specific point in time. And if you're migrating data from Azure, Storage Transfer Service now supports event-driven transfers for Azure Blob Storage and Data Lake Storage Gen 2 sources. This allows you to automatically transfer new or updated objects as they appear in your Azure container. To round out our data updates, the location granularity for the Bigtable backup resource type has changed from global to regional. And for our analytics users, Looker Google Cloud Core is now available in the Bangkok region. Let's talk networking. Monitoring your internet-bound DNS queries for malicious activity using DNS Armor is now generally available. This brings advanced threat detection capabilities directly to your cloud DNS infrastructure, helping you spot and block threats before they cause problems. And for those of you using global external application load balancers, Managed Workload Identity is now available in preview for back-end mutual TLS. This is a huge step forward for simplifying certificate management. It enables automated certificate and trust management through a seamless integration with Certificate Authority Service and Certificate Manager. This eliminates a ton of operational work by automatically rotating certificates based on your workload identity pool's configuration. Finally, let's cover a few miscellaneous updates and deprecations. First, a deprecation notice. Effective immediately, Cloud Tools for PowerShell is deprecated and can no longer be installed using the Google Cloud CLI. If you're a PowerShell user, you'll want to check the documentation for more details on this transition. In VPC service controls, there is now preview stage support for a new integration with Cloud Location Finder. And in Google SecOps, Chronicle now has general availability for self-service deprovisioning, and the auto extraction feature is also now GA, though you will need to opt in and choose which fields to extract. Lastly, VMware Engine users in London, Sao Paulo, and Dallas will be happy to hear that private clouds capable of hosting both VE1 and VE2 node family clusters are now available in your regions. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. We covered a lot, from the powerful new pipeline operations in Firestore to the critical OpenSSH vulnerability you need to patch. It's been a busy week for the Google Cloud team. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.